That's incredibly good versus the Shaker. They don't really have a good counter for it. Rubik Lift, pretty common. Disruptor is also pretty common, but I don't really like either of those versus Newbee's lineup.
5 seconds remaining.
Are Newbee just going to pick the exact same thing?
Would be funny. Maybe they didn't think they did that badly at all and got caught out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got to be pretty happy, fairly happy about their performance. Like just later on, things started to turn around in terms of how they're outlaning Wings for the most part. How they're able to control the game early on, they've got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, if they think it was just like a draft issue in the sense that they gave the opponent Necropost and they didn't really know how to deal with it, then it would make sense for them. However, at the same time, they're going to have less surprises up their sleeves. Like they're going to expect Clockwork +1 probably in the off lane, so on and so forth, if they want to play it similarly.
I wouldn't mind them swapping back to like a gyrocopter for Wings instead of having that bench support, but that goes right out the window. Thank you, Wings.
So some more armor synergy that we've seen, and then also like Newbee seems to have kind of consistently had this issue where they go very heavily towards single target damage. And again, like if you have a defensive support like a Dazzle or Oracle can help deal with that and synergizes with their armor. I think it's a nice pick for them here.
Yeah, or Force Staffs like we saw last game. I think that really helped them out a lot, their Force Staff usage.
I think we're still looking at the possibility, though, that Newbee could overwhelm Wings with these just...
10 seconds remaining.
I think that's they go the Draw Ranger Dusa strategy. I mean, now that they've committed to the Vengeful Spirits, safe lane core, right? The Dusa becomes a lot stronger.
That's not necessarily true. I think they can use Earthshaker in the off lane. The most common pickup today that is versus the Dusa is the Anti-Mage, which I think is actually not that bad here versus the Medusa. I think they have a pretty strong forward that can fight while the Anti-Mage is farming.
Yeah, you're
versus the Dusa. They still have one bando if they're scared of it. And I think Anti-Mage is by far one of the best ones.
Yeah, and most of the other Diffusal Blade carriers are kind of either not viable or already banned out, like the Jug.
Yeah. And Diffusal got nerfed a little bit too.
Newbee's turn to ban.
They can also decide this is a bit greedier on the side of Newbee. Actually, we've seen this Medusa Drow combo since like the Manila Major back that they used against them especially, so they could decide to go with an Ursa, something that's even more aggressive early on.
That's true. Ursa, I think, is one of the better ones to deal with it too. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Wings to do something strange like the PL.
5 seconds
I would say too. It's like not bad. Rushing the Drow Ranger, Clockwork, and Ogre also struggle to deal with it, but late game, I don't particularly favor that matchup a lot.
With the Ogre, it could be that Newbee planned this out for a while too, right? Because you always need some sort of damage upgrade for Medusa. Drow Ranger is a big one, but you always want a little bit more, and that Bloodlust is super value for Dusa. You don't want to have this hero at 30 minutes still feel like the physical damage isn't enough. So you need upgrades for these allies. Rubik versus Earthshaker.
Turn to pick.
Cool down there.
I like this Dusa for Newbee just because I think they're going to play it a lot faster than the way Fnatic did. And especially with the Drow Ranger, it just becomes so much more powerful. They've built, as you mentioned, 2 heroes that synergize well with the Dusa. They have the Clockwork to protect them. It's also very good versus the Shadow Fiend and Earthshaker to just create this huge buffer in between them.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Of course it is.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
If there was one hero we weren't expecting, it was the Broodmother.
You're going to see a Dazzle Brood offlane?
Yeah, I think so. Dazzle Brood that offlane is ridiculously strong.
Absolutely crazy. What a crazy draft to end then. We're going to go into game 3. It's all or nothing for both teams as we head back to our commentary team. Purge and Gods, it's all yours.
Welcome back for game number 3. Wings versus Newbee went it through to the grand finals to face Digital Chaos, and Wings once again, Purge, have done something a little bit different with their draft.
I was really liking what Newbee did with the Medusa pick, but now with the Broodmother, it's kind of scary here, especially for Drow Ranger. Brood is one of the best heroes against her because she has no AoE. So if you accumulate enough spiders, that's a dead Drow Ranger. So I really love the pick. With Dazzle, it can definitely be very effective. And even if it doesn't go super well, you've got a regular Dazzle. So First brood mother of the new patch. Let's see how it does.
This was the old school counter, yeah, like you say, to the Drow Ranger. It used to be picked up, I mean, it used to be a top tier pick that was getting first 2 picked even back in the old ESL 1 New York days when saw it rise to prominence. Yeah, Vega with Mag.
Yeah.
Then DK Phobos was playing it a lot. But Fatean, this is a little spiffy looking brood set, but yeah, great synergy with the Dazzle as mentioned, and Dazzle doesn't even have to necessarily start up there. You may want to look to prioritize brood getting some levels before you make that rotation up there, get the spider, like a good spiraling army before you get the Shadow Wave Field Bomb going.
And that's kind of what it seems like it's going to do with Falling Blade, Stout Shield. More likely he'll jungle. Falling's not that weird, but with the Stout, I assume that he's ready to retreat if needed. And it's so important that Newbee does try to shut him down, keep him one as long as possible, because they don't have good AoE. Their AoE is Bait Bolt in the safe lane, like until Ogre hits 6, that is. So,
are they sending Clock to safe lane? They may just be sacking that lane in the sense that they're not going to try and fight the brood with the Drow lane.
But again, as we've seen from the first couple games, aggro tri-laning a Drow Ranger is the solution. Now they're the ones aggroing
with a Drow Ranger.
With the Drow.
Not by choice, I imagine, as Newbee has smoked up, looking to capitalize around this bounty rune. They've got a high ground ward here. They will see the Earthshaker. But Earthshaker also sees them and gets before trouble arrives. Does get them an extra bounty rune, but they were perhaps thinking they could get themselves a kill as well.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have the great positioning there. It's so important how some teams do stand like that. They had protection from the trees, and with the Vengeful Spirit spotting the smoke break, just easy save there. One less bounty rune, and they'll do their best to win this lane. They put a sentry down as well to spot for any camp blocks, but there's nothing of that sort. It's been a little bit of a late lane rotation.
Mid lane though, this is not a great lane for a Shadow Fiend. The creep block is on the dire hill. It will push up perhaps on the range creeps. And their bottom lane is where we'll draw our attention. They're going to be getting a nice fissure onto Kaka. He's been blocked off. He's going to look to run himself away here. Why? Has another poison touch only in 5 seconds time. The right click damage may be enough on its own. But Tango, he barely survives.
He can chase, maybe get a poison touch, but obviously he'll use Shrine if needed.
Yeah, he pops it just to be on the safe side.
Very worth it for Innocence to follow like that, because they guarantee that Kaka had to waste it on himself and not actually do an AoE.
Okay. Perhaps a slightly advantageous start for Wings. And this tri-lane is actually, despite, don't be fooled by the fact that Newbee are the ones who put it for aggroing here. It's a tri-lane and Wings is save, and they...
Oh, the close one. It's Venge carry, by the way.
Yep. So Shadow picking up the farm in this lane. It will be pushing it out here, making sure that Drow can get some farm, but we'll draw our attention back towards this mid lane where SF is being dual lane. The Ogre's presence is giving him a very rough time. Medusa even coming in. This may be an early first blood. There's one Fairy Fire available, but Medusa picks it up, gets power aggro off himself.
Nothing weird here, just tanking tower, healing.
Welcome to a new age of Dota 2.
It's a really nice dive there. That's the kind of pressure they need to do, because that's the one lane that's actually vulnerable. They should be expecting Drow to get less farm in this lane. And as of yet, the Fissures have been really scary, so they've got to at least leave Blink in a worse place than normal. And
taking a look at the one other lane we haven't seen, the top lane is gone just fine for Clockwork. He's CSing and doing not too bad here, at least for now, while Brood doesn't have too many levels or too many spikes. That may change soon, but it's not a lane they're necessarily expecting to win. KP's just up here with the order, probably get some farm and XP, just keep the Brood busy. He's leveling up Rocket Flare for some extra AoE.
It's the important thing is that you do AoE damage to spiders so that they can't clump as much. When they clump, they do tons of damage, so Rocket Flare covers that basis. And it's honestly not that bad of a skill. Great at killing raindrops. Yep. He'll be completely fine this lane. It's really about the rotation, so.
With level 4 bottom lane, they will get a catch, a lift on the Shadow. He's being pulled back. With those frost arrows, the slows coming out, the body blocks from face as well, and there he's going to catch an advantage. That's the carry bench we mentioned. Newbee's aggro trailing strikes, and it really has been based on the Ogre match. The big playmaker so far for Newbee, first at mid, now at bottom.
And amazing plays as well by KP in the safe lane. Dazzle rotates up here. He gets the sentry to the Brood Mother. He placed the sentry and instantly he used the Falling Blade, or a Tango actually, on KP to kill the sentry. It looks like he got the second one as well. That's literally 200 gold from the supports on Wing's side, and he just killed them both. And that guarantees that spiders can't harass him, that he can continue last hitting. He doesn't have to worry about heal bombs from invis targets.
Speed him coming. He's got the 4-man shield boots already, so he's actually pretty hard to kill up here. So Dazzle maybe wasting some of his time trying to prioritize this top lane. Mid lane, Kaka's come in. He got scammed, but it was too late for a response. TP, though, will be there.
don't think they actually get that kill anyways. There was not an ogre with them. It was just a casual Rubik lift.
But if Rubik's there, throw the lift, because that's another TP scroll that the enemy team just used. I believe that one was Dazzle. And now he feels like he has to go pressure and defend the mid lane instead of sitting top looking for a kill on Clockwork. It's the pressure that's been going up from Newbee so far has been great.
So what's going to be the idea with this Brood? Are you just looking to cap this top lane and just keep on fighting into the Clockwork? At some point, do you swap the lanes and try and put the Brood versus the Drow?
I'm not completely sure what the current build on Brood is. That's really what the question comes down to, I feel. What are the talent trees? Do you go damage? Do you go the Midas Echo Saber build? I found that build very effective. But we're going to see maybe a kill in the bot lane here.
Catch the Fissure is there. We'll catch out
Great Fissure.
just the one here with the stun, but blocks all three.
Yeah, the observer they placed there is it going to be good, but if they would have placed a lane ward in front of the trees, it could have been better there, because grabbing Earthshaker would have been a for sure kill.
It's limited mana on the Earthshaker now as far as throwing out fissures in this bottom lane goes. But it seems the supports are going to make a beeline towards that middle lane.
And they got the D ward as well. Sentry already there.
Did do so under Radiant Ward detection, but it seems
They got a shot.
he's going to go. He's trying to get to his sanctuary, so he knows that if he fights by this one, he should be okay. He will pop, but doesn't want to stand by it. He's actually a little bit worried about his position here. He's trying to get back to his teammates.
Yeah, that was a good play there. There was no way that he was going to kill either the Rubik or the Ogre before he died there, despite the huge regen. And if anything, just a small tangent, getting some mana. So the last minute or two of Newbee's positioning hasn't been as amazing.
Radiant's middle tower
Giftion
is
also
under
really
attack.
pushing the tower now.
Dire structures
Well,
are
I guess
fortified.
rather than questioning the Brood, what's the
Dire's
Fox idea? Do you
top
sit up
tower
here
is
defending
under
against the
attack.
Brood, or do you, now that you're 6, look for those gank opportunities as early as possible?
Well, somebody's got to do it, right? And it's either Clock is by far the safest right now, just because at least he can defend himself with power cogs, and worst case, maybe use a hook shot at Rocket Flare to kill spiders. But at some point, I could see Dusa going up there as well. It's just for now, it's probably safer for Dusa to sit mid. So I think he just keeps getting farm. It all comes down to the supports to rotate, and Rubik and Ogre are definitely capable.
He's going to keep on doing that, and the nice thing about once he gets to level 7 is that Rocket Flare can easily kill the little baby spiderlings with just one Rocket Flare from full HP. But now, level 6 only. Does have a Dazzle in the neighborhood, so needs to be a little bit wary of how much effort he puts into defending the tower. The Colts is not enough. And yet, he traps the Brood in with him. Spiderlings chasing, and it looks like it should be a kill to KP. One last Rocket Flare before he does eventually go down.
At some point, there are too many spiders, and a Soul Ring facilitates that.
And they come in, wrap around with Patra on the Rubik, this Shadow back in.
Dire's top
And
tower is
his
under
escape is
attack.
somewhat limited until the fissure comes in, but that's still not going to be enough. Eyesight. The watch is letting go down. Good news is the top team on tower has been playing Faith Beyond. Putting his team in a good position as far as putting pressure on the other side of the map.
Yeah, if they just keep stabilizing, they're losing heroes, but their tower hasn't been touched yet. So Brood should be able to control all of the Dire jungle, or at least a large portion of it. So could turn into a position where their carries can farm, and Newbee's can have less access to farm.
Be immediately just heading back towards this top lane. You kind of mentioned that it's someone's going to deal with the Brood. So as much as a Clockwork traditioning looks to start rotating, finding those ganks as soon as he hits level 6, that is not something KP is going to be allowed by Wings.
He still can gank though. He's got TPs ready, bottle as well.
Just a few TPs.
The desperation on dying TP.
The Fissure is a beast from the Drought Ranger. Looks like Vengeance to go for a stun. The heal will keep Shadow up and healthy in the Drought. It's turned around on. Shadow low, the hook shot was missing. And Shadow actually gets straight up, perhaps a bit too early. Then he's still being chased down here. Another hill kick from the King. Finds the kill will go down. Shadow speed is late. Showing up. This situation here. A 3-4-1 so far. SCC's TP not really amounting to all too much of a Newbee, and this says hello top lane. Brood is diving, wants to unite, should be able to get it. He can chase deep, but doesn't have any webs, and the Ogre Magi's presence will deter any further chase from Faith Beyond.
The strongest build that he can, really just phase boots, Soul Ring. He can pressure these guys so easily. Even Faith here has to be careful. The web's really the only thing holding back from him going on an early rampage.
Is under attack.
And he's 900 gold towards a potential Midas. We'll see what he does build. but I think that build's fantastic. Maybe there's something new though. A lot of new items.
Now, Faith, it looks like just trying to get some wards down this top lane, grab some bounty runes. Is it better, do you think, to try and address the brood, deal with it like as the pest is, or do you think they're better off ignoring it?
An occasional gank is super important. He's the highest net worth right now. There's pretty straightforward ways to do it. You pop a smoke, you run forward with 3 heroes, your smoke dies, you pop dust, you have a solution. On the bright side, for Newbee, they do have a clockwork. Clockwork's fantastic at shutting down the Brood and finding him in the trees for that. So once you do a little damage to the Brood, he can't actually phase through trees. So I think an occasional gank, it's super important. You can get them a lot of gold advantage back to their side.
Boom, there it goes.
They put Unite in the top lane for a little bit, but once it pushes out past the top tower, he decides there's not a lane he wants to be in against the Brood. Speaking of which, the Brood is kind of tucked away in the trees, not feeling too safe.
That's all you need. Let the sweat get the last hits.
Yep.
And occasionally feeding clockworks. 60 gold. That's actually a lot. It's going to really add up.
Clockwork, yeah, happy to take what farm he can in this top lane, and that's something where he is guaranteed yeah, game boots to sustain that. Constant rocket player, yeah, spam. And Newbee, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to just have this timing where they can 5-man and push down towers with a Drown Medusa because of the fact that
Just seeing the way the Ogre's been playing the last minute, he's actually just dual jungling with the Drow Ranger. When have you last seen that? There's pretty much no reason to drop at 6.
Comes Wings with a smoke towards the top lane. Knowing they can bypass the dire observer with this one, they're going to find Iggy and start things off. Shadow is going to wrap from behind. The Brood is there as well. The hook shot for the next time. He does get out. The Brood out with the cogs, and as a result, Shadow should be going down. The turnaround is there. Newbee come in with both Drow and the Rubik. They get one and they want a second. What do we have to find that? Clockwork for a bench so far.
It's a great reaction by Newbee. Rubik's getting there just in time. Steel Spawn Spiderlings is actually a pretty good grab here. He can use this to generate him some gold.
Does have the action sustain it as far as mana goes, but with the Clockwork top lane, AoE is limited. Looks like a T3 tower. It's going to be either claimed or at least have a significant amount of damage dealt to it. Shadow beats the Robicaine and then can just treads it and infuse raindrops here, enough to make him kind of take him out to join up with his team and fight.
Radiant's middle
The
tower
rainbow
is under attack.
Rocket's so good at that. Mostly focusing on spiders for now though. And they still have very good AoE heroes now. Split Shot's fantastic. Snake is very good at killing spiders. They've got some solutions. They lost the 2 towers, but they still have the other towers on the map, and they still have the shrine, so they have decent control of this area of the map, despite the early tower push from Wings.
The kind of, I guess, impression I'm slightly getting this game, it does feel like Newbee are going to have to go more late game rather than look for that mid game. And there we go, you talk about smoke gangs with the Brood. This is they get the dust, they get the shift into the hook shot, and they'll bring down Fake Beyond.
Perfectly executed there. Throwing him back in out of the way for the hook shot. It's honestly a straightforward kill, even if you made the smoke to it, but you just have to do that once in a while as the top net worth hero. And the kill went to SE as well on Medusa, so a bit more gold advantage for him.
That's a common problem for Brood Mothers. You get very far ahead when you have these good starts, but then you become this big prized bounty for your opponents to pick you up with.
That's why so many Broods just hang out in trees so often, because they don't want to show in the lane, because then their opponents could be able to kill them. And I'd argue that the jungle now is maybe a bit worse for Broods, at least in the jungle area. All the tree clumps are more small. They're not as connected, I feel. Let's use it on the edges of the map.
Yep, I totally see what you mean. But yeah, so Wings, they're going to see what their next moves are going to be. They sent Faith Beyond back top with an Echo Saber, so one of the builds you kind of mentioned, minus the minus, but gives them some good stats and kind of more fighting oriented build.
And it's utility as well. It gives him some slow. He can front load his damage with Insatiable Hunger. Really synergizes well there.
The rest of the week seems to be playing more of a farming oriented game for now. They have to smoke on the 2 supports if they want to make another move, but when you look at their lineup, they've got a true 3-core lineup, both SF, Bench, and the Brood, 3 agi heroes that can all scale very well into the late game. Earthshaker wants to probably farm a blink at some point as well, and it seems both supports are just sitting behind cores who are farming.
They're anticipating the Newbee ganks, basically. Clockwork could be moving around. He's got tons of levels from his early laning stage, so that's something that they are going to do. With that said, though, Earthshaker's pretty much been just taking the lanes that have been empty all game up until this point after that tri-lane stage. And it's paying off. He's got tons of regen items, so if it's in a long engagement, he's going to be able to figure out a lot.
This is not good. I'd say it's actually a little damage. He wanted to be in the front line here, but luckily for him, it's just the two support initially, and we'll back off. Trying to get down to the observer was there in the front line. Gets forced back in the hook shot. Narrowly misses.
Just a little too far there. No fissure stolen either. Nicely done to cover that. Ice has to be careful. Fissure is one of the best abilities you can steal.
They do prevent those deep aggressive wards being planted. So instead, just a lane ward down in this bottom lane, as Newbee will be forced to either defend or let this bottom T1 tower go. Wings have grouped up as 4, creating space for these 4, I should really say, as they feel like Brood is guaranteed to keep at least 1 or 2 busy in this top lane, and it's the clockwork for now, but it's a clockwork who can always TP, or can TP typically, but it is on cooldown for now.
Yeah, I actually like how he's playing this game heavily. He misses hookshot. That's usually the time period where clockwork should just go back to home and get regened up, and then go start moving across the map again. But instead he goes back, he defends, and he puts all his early gold into a Midas. And it's a really good timing for a clock.
I think this is kind of, let's mention the Newbee just saying we're going like they have a Drow, and you think of Drow as that mid-game pushing team, but they have a brute problem, and they're going to say, they've got 3 scaling cores, let's make sure we have 3 scaling cores. Not that Clockwork's going to be able to dish out as much damage as a Camry, but he can still get some useful items for the team.
He's certainly got them. I feel like some of his items in the last game were definitely useful, but I look at the Wings lineup here, and I don't have tons of faith in the bench right now, because his early rotations weren't very successful, and the tri-lane itself led to him dying a few times. So I feel like Benj is playing more of a semi-carry role right now. I feel it's very heavily on the back of Shadowfiend.
And it is reflected in his net worth. You see he's less farm than the Clockwork, Earthwing farm a lot, as Spiderlink has a Midas and all that, but this is a very underfarmed relative to the other cores in the game, Mental Spirit.
Like with a Midas on clock, you've got good attack speed fine. He's got terrible edge gain, but turn this into something amazing. I think there's a real possibility that he can do this. If he doesn't.
Speaking of that Clockwork, he turns around for a hook shot to try and do some damage, but that was a big Spiderling army of Faith Beyonds coming in to bring him down.
That's the danger move here. If you can't kill all of the spiders with like a hook shot rocket combo, then they will kill you.
He's queued up a Vanguard, so I think recognizing that is going to be the item that will help him survive. Just killed him there.
It'll help. It doesn't have 100% block anymore, I believe. So it won't be necessarily as good against a
does not want to. Good news is Faith Beyond gets himself out of there. But can't get a stolen vision of course the prime steal as far as this game goes.
He's almost got Blink Dagger as well too. So he's doing very, very well. Earthshaker on the other hand was doing alright, but now dead. 740 gold, so quite a ways away. I'm still not very sold on the Vanguard on Clockwork. It is good, I guess, against Vengeful Spirit amping everybody's damage. You can get some damage block to offset, but I feel like you'd be better served going at least something like a 4-step first. It's one item that can give you some distance between yourself and the Brood, or something else if you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, like that scenario that you force, then you pop the cogs and you can't really chase you down outside of that cogs.
Yeah, exactly.
It does feel like this is much more slow paced. Both teams are going to be just picking up their core items, waiting to see what their opponents are doing. No one's looking to rush this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I really like what Medusa's got for
Radiant
Dragonlance immediately with Scotty. Scotty's one of the best items in the game for Medusa for survivability, just because what she gets out of Man Shield. And much single target.
Mid lane, they're going to get the Earthshaker once again. And the Vengeful Spirit takes down the thing. Can keep up with her KP. So he gets saved with the magic missile. The Brave will keep Shadow Life in the ultimately quiet out. Throws Shadow TP out. It falls complete. Just barely at the end there. The battery assault wearing off.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's pretty
Radiant's
important
shape for Wings. They do not want to lose the bench considering how underfarmed Chief Security is.
Either way, though, it's still really
Radiant's middle
Bloodlust
tower
on
has fallen.
Medusa, he's doing tons of damage. Just, I feel like they just run at their opponents, and their opponents can't really slow them down. Good drop
Radiant's middle
obviously
tower
helps, but
is under attack.
that's about the only thing that's going to make them good at fighting for now. Like, even a BKB on Shadow Fiend and an ultimate, it's kind of what they need to stop their opponents, but that's not going to provide a solution to Medusa.
I'm liking the Vanguard's potential pick up a lot more for Clockwork now because Brood has got a death. So strike click damage is really starting to ramp up, and
I'll take that.
I feel like this is going to be a good little answer to some of that single target DPS.
It's definitely good against minus armor. And that's really what Wings is trying to do here. They've got Shadow Fiend, they've got Broodmother, and they have Dazzle, and they have Event. That's 4 heroes that have minus armor. So they should be really strong if they're grouped together for the next 15 or so minutes if Newbee doesn't react correctly.
Themselves in a row. They have great vision to the north and east of the pit, and we can see that, dare I say, radiant side Roche advantage. Still feels weird saying that.
That's taking the 2 towers, basically. They've had words of covering it for so long. Just a matter of time.
With that, see if they try to make any more aggressive maneuvers forward. The Shadowblade pick up an SF gives him some surprise factor as far as being able to initiate, although it has, of course, been spotted by now.
You know, thinking about all this minus armor and how matches against Newbee, it's actually terrible against Medusa. The way that Mana Shield works is, I got corrected by ADY about this the other day. It's basically like damage block. The damage you're taking, it damage blocks 60% of it and applies it to Mana Shield. And then the remaining 40% gets
Dire's
amplified
middle tower
or
is
reduced
under attack.
by the armor that you have. So it's great.
Now taking it Medusa is the extra time, doesn't do anything too much yet, but now the Mana Shield wearing off an NCC. Will go down, just picked up his Shadi, but Courier as well runs into trouble, and that's going to be a freebie for the wing side of the thing. They are pushing forward, the visual catch the ogre, the should be a couple of kills to come, and some of the save it. Suddenly, one kill turns into 2, turns into a potential third. They want to go into the high ground, but hold the KP, blocking the chase, and will probably tempt Wings to actually take the T1 tower with them.
Everything just got out of control. I jinxed him.
And that was a nice little maneuver into that dire jungle. All this vision from the Radiant Observer was giving them such great intel, and yeah, I totally agree about Medusa being tanky and hard to kill, but when it's a 4v1 scenario like that, you definitely can kill that Medusa.
And they got a medallion as well. Like, they actually have so much minus armor on the Radiant team right now. And it paid off there big time. It's being so in control for Newbee, but a couple chain feeds, more or less, and a bit more evened out. The net worths now are incredibly looking good for Wings.
Yeah, Urshake, you're going to complete a Blink Dagger off of that, but looking at this net worth graph, it's still so close between the two teams. It's never been more than a 2,000 gold lead for either squad.
Slightly inflated by Midas, but I think the Venge is still pretty underperformed. She's going for more of a hybrid build, gonna pick up a hood after Dragon Lance.
How much pressure are you if you're Wings? Do you feel like this Brood is a hero that, I mean, traditionally can kind of fall off? Is this a build that's going to fall off less? Do you need to be ending this game early if you're Wings?
I think that question mostly comes down to talent trees. That's the most new thing that's going on for Brood here. She's got 10 agi more than she used to. Historically, her agi game is pretty mediocre. Strength game's better. I don't think her talents really make her that much better. Her 50 attack speed in the next level could be fantastic.
Yep.
But that level 25 talent really doesn't do that much more. More webs, I guess. You can control more of the map. But
I imagine you want to go for the webs over the spiders stuff there.
yeah, those in the top as well.
I mean, you're doing way more damage than your spiders are once you're level 25 in the late game. And the way Brood's itemizing is she's going to be a right-click carry, so wants to be fighting under the webs as much as possible.
How do you like this Blink Dagger pickup though? It's a bit interesting.
Getting on top of the Drow Ranger. It is a gap closer, but there's more. For Hurricane Pipe from the Drow, so there will be some of these maneuvering items. I say that, but there's still just I want to say one at the moment. Medusa could theoretically upgrade the Dragonlance. Still not seeing any kind of 4-star on Clockwork yet.
Lincoln's next for
Dire's
Medusa.
bottom tower is under
That's a
attack.
pretty good choice. Can stop squat.
Yeah.
Certainly the best.
That was where she got put last fight. And if you're Venge, you're kind of happy to throw away your life. You're killing a Deucer in the process.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And now, yeah, we'll at least have that queued up.
But we're still so far. I'm pretty sure he's just looking where, yeah, every time. Oh, Brute's got a group of spiders. I'll just shoot a rocket across the map. It hits, kills all the spiderites, the low HP ones, and he gets 80 gold. And he's got a Midas. I mean, he had Vanguard, and not too long ago he's already 2,000 gold. I think something expensive like a real damage item, so even something like a Radiance could be good.
Nice sides, putting some salt in the trees. It's very close to cut on the roof. If they can catch up too, securing a tier 1 tower, Eyesight will get himself forced out of there back to safety. And Newbee can't really defend this because they are being kept busy by this top lane. Just a tier 1 tower for them, but every tower is going to add up. Once you start losing those tier 2s as well, that's where you'll lose your shrines and completely lose map control. So they need to make sure they get themselves in decent fighting positions soon.
And once again, Clock is still sitting. Now he does finish the cleansing guard though. Gives him some nice base armor and obviously the damage block for him and his allies. Don't think it shouldn't damage block the Shadow Wave, which has actually been a huge damage output for a lot of these fights, but at least the right clicks it'll be good. Spiders too.
And this feels like Wings are just split pushing Newbee to death in some ways right now. Not just through split push, but also out farming those top 2 network heroes. They're not really being dealt with by the Newbee side.
I think that's what they have to do though, just because of the Vendra's going. She's catching up a bit now. Ops changes back, goes for a Yasha.
Almost got me top lane. They put a double sentry damage down, and they even used a rocket flare and a stolen bench power, which just expired. Couldn't quite find the catch as Faithian tucks himself off deep enough away, walks back. Gets spotted by the sentry just yet.
I like that they're avoiding fights. They're strong. Oh, they're going in.
We're going to take the down range. It gets taken out to start the fight off.
Good team. So much damage there.
Yeah, that instant double hit from the Echo Saber.
The ulti gives him 120 damage.
And it's so nice because he's instantly on top of you with that Blink Dagger.
There's no time wasted and actually made a difference there.
It's a key kill. The Stroud already not doing too well in terms of overall farming. Killer again. And constantly putting Newbee on the back foot.
I was definitely feeling better due to the fact that she went for the mountain build, gonna go Axe next, great against killing spiders. And it won't necessarily have to be just Jusa or the Clockwork dealing with it, but she is still very vulnerable, and I know she's going out to make it any better. And all it takes is Earthshaker getting up there without their opponents knowing it. And that can happen every time Echo slams off to them. There's not going to be a good solution to that other than just literally spotting them. That's pretty much the only way.
Well, and that's what Wings are getting out of their kind of pole position, that big playmaking hero that can find kills like that. On the Newbee side, Rubik can make some plays, but he's not going to be able to find kills like that kind of just with one other teammate. Booker is just kind of a bloodlusting machine. I feel like as this game goes on, Wings are going to get a bit more out of their supporting card.
I would agree with that, but I still feel better about the cores on Newbee. Dusa as well as Star. As long as Brad doesn't keep getting picked off like that, she will farm incredibly fast.
You worry about them kind of getting right into the round of the map though, because the split push from Wings is what's kind of dragging Newbee apart right now.
I don't think that matters so much. I mean, I think it's an issue because of Roche control, but past that, because they have such good AoE, they're going to farm their half of the map incredibly fast. And Wings just doesn't feel super comfortable taking a 5v5.
To make their next move, they've smoked up 4 heroes heading towards the Broodmother. Perhaps the shot. They're not going to find the Brood.
It's going to be able to pull down. Wings can't make an engagement.
Or Wings, can they get the jump? The Blink Dagger was broken by the rocket plane. Maybe it's not one of the Ogre, not the ideal time for the match. Catches under the range with the Stonegaze. It can't really amount to all too much because of that vision blocking them in. And we'll see the SF just scurry himself away. He's going to hang through there. He's thinking about chasing for more, but Newbee have already reassembled onto the high ground.
I'm thinking about going in. Doesn't take a lot of hits to kill something. I mean, there's a fast gem here on the Rubik. That was very dangerous for them. They only lost to Ogre Magi. Not a huge loss here, considering, but they can't lose this gem. Not after they bought it.
I mean, ideally you're looking for one of the prime carries with that swap, and that was all Wings could see, and they're probably deciding at that point, look, we use this smoke, let's just take what kills we can.
The force staff really helped as well. I thought Bench could go down, but Shadowbeam picking up the Hurricane Bike, so He's not really hitting too hard just yet. Has focused entirely on damage skills here. But we'll see where his itemization goes after this, because he does have to really start thinking about being able to outcarry against Medusa.
Just going for the extra damage per souls, the health, the attack speed. Final retreat gets the extra attack range, or the minus shadow raise.
That is in the shadow thing, gets the attack range, especially because he's already got the burning fight. He's basically just sit low ground and hit towers. So if they ever get advantage, it'd be great.
I mean, Raze has a cast time. He'd rather be right-clicking than using Raze, even when Raze has a 3-second cooldown. As great as that sounds, 3-second cooldown Shadow Raze. That's awesome.
Sounds really good for support Shadow Thing, which should never happen.
Okay, I'll be playing that in my next copy. I think I heard.
You would, knowing you.
I actually played the support Shadow Thing just a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah, that's disgusting. We're looking for Brood Mother with the jump here. Lincoln is up on Dusa as well. She is really hard to kill. She picks up the 10% evasion. I like the choice. Not a huge amount, but could really add up over the course of the game. Oh, that's okay.
Oh, can they get the kill though? The immediate kill there by the Stonegaze to prevent anyone from coming in. Very sneaky though. Still has a magic staff. Here, but he's being cold. He has the Raven to keep life to the side. The Brood was on the socket. Brood is now. Echo from my side. He's gone in. Once the Medusa is getting dropped down by the Shadow with the BKB. It's tearing apart the Newbee line. Base is looking to scurry himself out of that. Newbee barely TPs himself home and safe. And if he's three down, possibly 4 KP. Doesn't have a good answer. No force up. A couple of seconds, but he needs to get further away, and he's not going to get a chance to do so.
That mobility from the group there, nobody's getting away. 4 dead heroes now for Newbee. Their initiation was very botched, but they were not expecting to find Avenge at the worst place there, where she was going to high ground. And even when they were trying to kill the Avenge, attacking uphill against somebody that had a lot of armor, and ultimately the Echo Slam on 3 heroes just guaranteed turns them momentum.
The Avenge, one of the heroes that just gets very sneaky through his stats. +8 all stats at level 15. Is sitting on 2.3k HP with Strength Crest, Command Shot, Dragonlance. All of this survivability adding up there. And made her a hard takedown.
And then when things got really tough, just strengthen somebody else. No big deal. Go right on the wings this side.
They'll take themselves another Roche. They just speak away of the link, and nothing Newbee can do about this. They really just got to sit back and try and get that blocking you talking about, where they've got that Acronyms plus Maelstrom on the Drow Ranger. They've got Medusa with another item or two.
But I think the Medusa, she needs more damage right now. I think that was pretty clear. And she's pretty utility. She stayed alive a very long time, but there wasn't enough DPS out. Well, that helps. I'm thinking about Manta Staff. I know some people are going to flame me for it, but it's a better item for illusions now because it gives attack speed. Attack speed does benefit your illusions. They get split shot. There are some anti-AoE things like Earthquake. That's about it. There isn't that much. I feel like you can remove some disables. Overall, output more damage. Like Butterfly will also work, but it's still more attack speed.
Okay. Well, as it stands, Drow getting closer and closer to that axe, just trying to roll away. And again, we see the same perhaps problem with Newbee's land scaling, though. It's very much all physical damage, and this does feel like that's something which Wings can itemize against. They've got the Casual Buckler and Dazzle, they've got the Solar Crest, they've got Weave itself. The armor on the entire Wings lineup is going to get pretty massive right now.
What if you bought like Mjolnir instead of Medusa?
I quite like that idea, actually. You mentioned damage. Maybe that is one of the better answers for it. Right now with the BKBs, it's not great because these are still like 9-10 second BKBs. Brood is 10 seconds, that is 9 seconds. So it takes a couple of fights before you really see it be high value, but
she's going to get hit a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The reflect, she can be great. And she also does have a lot of int, which buffs her spell damage, and ultimately makes the Mjolnir just a bit better.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Got much money to buy right now. They'll let Wings take the last tier 2 tower, which means time to take out some of those shrines.
So looks like Drow finishes her axe finally. So this is going to help the damage. I guess it doesn't have to be the Dusa. She could just be focused on tankiness, let the Drow sit in the back and try to make up for that lacking there. And that is a great way to do it. The split shot, you can cast. Actually, you can't. It's probably not as good as the Maelstrom. I believe Maelstrom has a cooldown of like 0.2 seconds, and she certainly has enough attacks that it will limit that a bit. But with the MKB purchase immediately after this, I don't know if you've tried that before. It's fantastic. Just mini stun multiple teams. You won't have to worry about missing a pill, I believe.
And the Brood passive as well.
That's a great point. Yeah. What, 60% miss chance as soon as he slaps somebody. That's something that either the Drow or the Deuce can't handle at all.
And even if you gust the Brood back rapidly like Wings on you, you've still got 2 seconds where you've got that miss chance, which you don't want to have to deal with. So
yeah, the timing is very crucial. They have to go in and they have to kill somebody towards the start of the fight, or while they're using Deuce ulti. Because if they don't, then there's going to be so many swaps. They have annoying things to deal with.
Maybe perhaps me put under a bit of pressure here. The Age is still extra duration left on it.
Invisibility.
But 2 minutes left. Doesn't seem like Wings are going to group up right away by any means.
So it looks like Fox can do Axe next. Pretty standard stuff.
Or Drow. Spot lane outside of the lane. Echoes to land. Gonna change on this ramp by some kind of the Shadow Fiend to rock up. Gonna go for the TP up. And is that gonna be there? Shadow Fiend barely gets the kill.
It works. I thought he was going to the right kick, but the raises did a ton of damage there. Cleaned him up. That's a big kill. 50 seconds left now for Drow.
Oh, the swap back at Raze. Raze gets brought down and then it's getting picked apart one by one, and with 2 dead, that's a lot of Medusa damage taken away by Drow being dead. Any lane can be very exposed at this point. It looks like mid lane is where Wings are going to be grouping up. That's 5. Midwave is coming along soon. They preemptively weave for the high ground push, and Clockwork's going to be the one probably buying time with Cogs and Hookshot on the high ground for some of these respawns.
Oh, he's got the activate, so he's doing swaps up very soon.
Shaken blinks in, the Cogs is there, going to push the back with the stone gauge. Looks like that's going to be enough to repel this wave push.
Just fine, because they've got 12 seconds here for Drow.
Swap
at 3, swap at 3.
Trying to get anyone near the Lincolns. They get some additional damage and force out a kill. Now they're going to go for another hook shot, just trying to push him back using the Cog. Burn as they see in mana. Even though he's got an age distance. And we'll still focus that Shadow Fiend to try and get him off the high ground. The T3 tower gets protected. It cost them a good flip, but buying time again. They didn't have to Drow, and they also had to fight into the Aegis, so
We'll see if they leave the race here. They may just wait for Clockwork Vision and then go for something, but against the Aegis it's so difficult. But at least Blink is about half HP right now. Doesn't yet have a ton of sustain.
we'll be regenning soon once that Aegis expires in about 10 seconds time. Okay, this one they can see if they can go time. Well, back from challenge, they've got the Medusa with the 4-star back low, taking out one for the BKB, but SCC trying to slow him down, but that's challenge is getting everyone else. Nexus in there, and the rest here, lowering that is physical, but Medusa on the front lane trying to hold her own, doing so pretty well. They can see gets another one off. The control running out, maybe won't catch the Shadow Fiend inside, but they'll blink after. Kaka once more, he wants this Shadow Fiend, can he get? He's going to get almost 3 shots, but the Ghost Scepter keeps him alive, the 4-star up, and then gets pulled back in, they're going to bring down Blink. United getting the double kill, the Jarrett to the hook shot, it's back up, he's got another. 4 down, Brood the lone survivor, and what a hole.
The amount of time that KP bought in that seat was insane. 2 defenders for 20 seconds, and he got to hold it off.
Look at that range of damage done. 6.5k damage done through the Aghanim's and Maelstrom.
That's an item that is genuinely very undervalued by pro players, but it's times like these where going a carry Drow build can absolutely give you value.
Not only did KP get 3 hooks off, he actually did the second most damage in that team fight. 3 points.
Yeah.
He did more than half the damage of the Drow. Drow did a lot.
I'm not surprised in the slightest. Hook shot is so good for just forcing. It made it so difficult for Wings to actually retreat. You know, every time they backed off, hook shot into power cogs. It's like 3 seconds of disable every single time. Well,
Newbee finding perhaps their second legs here. That was the first real good team fight we've seen from them in some time.
Under attack.
they're going to look to claim this bottom tier 2 tower as a result. There's a lot of tier 2 towers up, so they won't be able to take out any of these shrines anytime soon.
Radiant's bottom
A
tower
lot of access points off the
Radiant's
map
bottom
available
tower
for
has fallen.
the Wing Squad still.
Those shrines and base made a huge difference for Medusa as well, just because it gives her HP and mana, which is more HP. She just sat there and fought it and worked out just fine. A little surprised she went for 500 mana here versus 15 Agi. I know that 15 Agi definitely has a much higher win rate in clubs, but no, very different pro game here. It's 2 armor, 15 damage, 15 attack speed. I think he's made a small mistake here, but we'll see.
Another big talent stand out to you as far as coming up or things that are being picked up?
Particularly pretty standard stuff around. So, there's really not that many levels so far.
The Brood's 25 coming up, but again, neither of those is going to be massively game-changing. The extra webs could be kind of nice.
It'll be interesting to see what we get, but I'm not going to be too surprised either way. Bench picking 50 damage, very, very good skill, obviously, for carry heroes. Bench carry doesn't get played that much, so it's still a little overbuffed. The 20% Venusaur damage is actually huge on Ben when she gets that. Since she does have a lot of Agi items, it'll really amp up her damage and really help Shadow Fiend as well, since he's building some money.
Yeah, this bench is hitting hard and taking a lot of damage. 2.5 PHP, SF, similar story. We're going for, it looks like an Assault Chorus queued up next.
On which hero is Shadow Fiend?
Shadow Fiend, yeah.
Okay. I don't even know if that's the right choice. I feel like I want him to get something heavy hitter. Like even a Monkey King Bar or a Daedalus is more better, I feel.
Brood's got a butterfly there, killing that. Brood, Medusa's got a butterfly.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Hook shot in, it's going to be a Link excellent light size. Going on a Rubik here of all heroes. Look out, not with the Ghost Step, now they're going to turn it around, focus their efforts on this Shaker. He will finish off the kill thanks to the Grave. Well, I guess that works out okay, but there's going to be a gem. Someone pick up that gem. Hello, Ogre comes in, and they'll recover the Rubik's gem.
I'm just not completely sold on the NEC. It'll be very good team-wise because they are very much about right-clicking and minus armor, but we'll see if it works out. I just don't see him going toe-to-toe with Medusa at some point. It's not going to happen.
It does feel like, again, they're just saying, like much like last game, it's all physical damage. Let's just tank up, get lots of stats, get lots of armor.
But it's not like that anymore. He's got tags with Mountain, and now he's got a Monkey King Bar. It does 160 magic damage. Look at him just clear this creep wave. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page as you as far as magic damage coming out of U9. You'll be happy to see Medusa is perhaps going for Mantle Star next. That's got it queued up.
It's definitely worth it. Especially against Orchid stuff, too. It's a lot of damage output, it really is.
Well, after that last fight, do you think that kind of evens things up, or is one team in a...
Yeah, game feels even to me. I feel like Newbee can get more control on the map. I feel Brood is certainly falling off. His skills are not as good at these super late game scenarios. Part of the reason is late game win rate's kind of weak. And especially with Crawford being as stupidly farmed as he is, he has control of this map now.
It does still feel like in a sense, like it's a big, not just even, but it's kind of like neither team can really push. They're trying to the high ground defense, not to mention the buyback advantage when you're defending high ground as well. So it does feel like neither team can try and make any kind of a big push, but what we can do, I guess, is make these kind of smoke maneuvers.
Yeah, we've seen it a couple times. Newbee keeps running into single heroes, and they want to keep doing it.
I don't know how well this is going to work. Medusa gets spotted by a Radiant Observerwood, and running this way by yourself with Medusa, very unlikely. Yeah, Rubik, his focus off, won't find anyone. Gets the Hydra Observerwood for some added vision.
They will get this other obs. It's something that they need to take care of. Couple on the map here for the Radiant team, and they're going to smoke in return.
Oh.
I don't think they actually wanted to fight there.
KP was fishing with that hook shot. May have been a good catch. He got the Brood, but Brood just respawned nice and fast, and Wings will get to perhaps put them in the position to get the Aegis and cheese this time around. KP popped in. He intimidates this guy. He gets first. Down. The last break. Will get down. Stone get his break down the Brood. They've played Echo time. Orbit picks up a few numbers, and they will in the end. Is low. He's looking for another stun. He needs to control back in. Don't see a good way out for him, as he will be brought down. 100 seconds on the sideline. Drow had to buy back, but well worth it.
It was just amazing how hard it was for them to kill SCC. Not only does he just not take a lot of damage from minus armor, but he's also got a butterfly and that extra 10% evasion. He's got 25 life.
Take it Rose with 3 heroes here. This does not seem wise. Look at the Brood almost melting into that active scepter. They get Karka in the end with a vision here. They take up one. They really don't want to let Newbee get the Aegis this time around. They have no SF, no buyback.
Shadow spotting out the Ogre Magi as well. I think they can still take this here.
Bench pull back for this, and now it feels like, whoop, hook shot, KP wants in, and he's going to catch up to the Earthshaker with the Shiver Slow. He's going to stop casting any spells, and this should secure the Roche. Another hook shot will be coming up in a couple of seconds, so KP will want more.
KP's just going crazy to this game, man. All those spikes.
In the last game, he had a loss. His clockwork was perhaps the shining star of the Newbee squad.
I completely agree. Mjolnir on the way now for Drow Ranger. It's just going to get a little bit worse now for Wings. And the best part is she hasn't even bought a BKB yet, so if she does end up buying it in these late game scenarios, 10 seconds is an incredible amount of time. Like, the only reason that Wings won that first fight, Brood jumped directly on the Drow, did a ton of damage with the Bloodthorn, and they committed an Echo Slam to kill her.
They may actually attempt to hide it. With a cheese on Medusa who will only get the HP, but refill your mana with it. Drow Ranger with an Aegis means you don't have to worry as much about the buyback status. But first, first farm. I was thinking they might go for the shrine spell. They're actually got a tier 2 tower, still full HP at the top lane, so they cannot get those shrines in.
I think just wait, give the Drow Ranger 600 gold, let her do some Mjolnir. It'll be a huge difference in terms of amount of magic balance damage. And then go take the next fight. As long as they don't get too clumped up on an Echo Slam, I think they certainly have an advantage. They also still have to be very mindful of bench swap. That's been really impactful in a lot of fights.
And they are going to take that more systematic approach, take out all the outer towers, probably take out the shrines before they attempt high ground. I mean, high ground is such a big difference going for high ground versus tier 2 tower when
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
There for that high ground defense. And there's not really any incentive for Wings trying to defend into an Aegis with the cheese right now.
Radiant's
there's
top tower has fallen.
some way that they can try to keep the Drow Ranger killed twice to reduce the precision power. That's maybe one big advantage they can get, but now for tier 2 to dead, the shrines are down too. The game is looking really even though I would say Newbee has an advantage right now.
We'll see how much they want to make you go at that high ground with the slight advantage they have. It does feel like one long fight going for a high ground push, the game will just swing right back Wings' way, so.
Yeah, really can.
And can be now queued up by the S. It feels like, this AC pickup, you kind of mentioned it, may have been a wrong decision, considering how survivable SCC was in that last fight, and MKB made a world of difference.
In a lot of ways, I think the BKB on the SF was also a mistake. Hurricane Pike, Shadow Blade, and BKB, that's like 3 semi-utility items, and at that point, you're not hitting very well. And you need to be concerned about that against Medusa, and especially against the Drow Ranger. That goes down, because she will out-DPS you. And that's what was happening in the last couple of fights. Shadowfiend's fighting, but he just wasn't doing that much. He's survivable, but you have to kill your opponents at some point.
And the crazy thing now with this level 25 Dusa, you're even tankier because of that 25% life steal.
That's a lot of life steal.
Drow Ranger about to hit that level 25.
Basically 25% life steal in Medusa. That's some of those perks, man. It's like playing Lone Druid.
You're a fan of the agility of the Drow Ranger 25 or the knockback?
It definitely has the high win rate pucks. Especially, you gotta remember, it also gives more damage to its allies because of precision aura. And if your enemies get close, you lose half of it, but I think that's better than the Gust knockback in this case. Although, against the Brood Mother, could be fantastic if Brood's BKB is down.
Find out in a little bit what that's going to be. Clockwork hits level 25 to come up the battery assault duration is what I'm looking at there. He's got a lot of HP as it is, but like almost permanent battery assault would be pretty speed hand was nice.
Yeah, could be good. I think I prefer health here, personally, but yeah, well, some people win games with more than 900 HP.
Yeah.
Sometimes damage items aren't the best choice.
No. So it looks like even with Aegis and Cheese, Newbee have their hearts set on continuing to farm, getting those level 25 talents, getting those next couple of items, and waiting for Wings to make a move. It's still that big stalemate where neither team can truly push up their opponent's team's high ground. No one has a big enough advantage to try and make any kind of forceful moves.
Newbee's going to want to take a fight on even ground against Wings. Wings is going to want to take an advantageous fight, I feel. They're just so tough for them to grab the Deuce kill, especially against Cheese. They don't want to do it against until Aegis is gone as well. But it's just becoming more and more time for Newbee here.
And I think they're recognizing some of these heroes, specifically the Brood, are just not going to scale all too well. The Venge is... how do you rate Venge as far as like this game going 60-70 minutes and Venge's ability to itemize and be played in that kind of late game scenario?
She's certainly not the best late game carry, especially. She's got a couple utility items, so I think she's made decent choices though. MKB's the next pickup, I believe. I'm not seeing it on the courier though, so I'm a little... Did we have a buyback on her recently? I thought she would have more farm.
She did buy back at the Roche fight.
Okay, that's right.
Right after.
Yeah, so no, she's even farther behind. But even an MKB is not the best item for her. She's very agi based. Is it attack range is weak?
Yeah, like this is a pretty good game for a Rubik as far as spells deal, and we're talking Aghanim Scepter Rubik soon if he wants to spend his money on it.
Yeah, be good.
One of
enchant totem. Won't stun, but he'll jump around.
Or more like the Requiem, or like his bench swap could be pretty damn nice.
There's a lot of great skills. Or you could just use it to break Lincolns and then wait 2 seconds to cast an actual spell. Like
none of the brute spells. Don't be using it.
Spawn web. Spin web.
You lose. I guess you lose the webs once you get a new spell, or
I believe so. Yeah. That'd be way too good. Yeah, the Brood also kind of having the same issue as the Shadow King, so that you get a lot of inferior items, ends up being a big downer on the 40 to 50 mark versus somebody that buys expensive items like Medusa or the Draw Ranger. So you've got to sell for that Medusa. Looks like she sold it like oh, she made a huge mistake just now.
The double boots of travel bars.
And she sold one of them.
Yeah, I guess at that point you have to probably looking for like the level 2 travels and accidentally bought a second pair of travels.
It's possible, I suppose. She had one in her backpack, and then she had one delivered by the courier. So, that's a lot of lost gold. 1,200, I believe. Just more creeps, right?
That's the thing. At Newbee 1, they know Wings only going to come to them like by some kind of like sneaky 5-man smoke maneuver. They're not going to just try and run at them and try and push a building. So
maybe she didn't sell Dragon. I'm not sure what she sold the first one, but maybe phase boots or something.
Yeah, she used to have a big. But I saw the double boots of travel.
I think she sold phase boots and to travel.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Something like that. Or maybe it was blades of attack. I'm not sure. Either way, still 1,200 gold, absolutely can make an impact. Could be a buyback here. There. She already does have moon charge, so she's just about a max. Jesus. I guess she could replace Greg. She's still got so much farm to go, really.
Hear hook shots, and I'm like, what am I missing?
He's just bored, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a Brood in the trees.
Sweet, Octarine for on your clockwork.
Let the build.
I like Octarine for you've got 4 spells as well as a couple different items that get the reduced cooldown.
Midas reduced cooldown?
Lesser than Midas.
I mean, he might as well buy something really beefy. I've been saying that all game. He's gone very, very conservative, but at this stage, he's so safe.
Really? I don't know. When you say really beefy, what do you mean by?
I mean something like weird that you never see on Clockwork, like Hex or Mjolnir or Radiance or something like that.
Hex could actually be a good way to gank some of these, or the BKB carries, like the SF, the Brood, and you want to try and initiate on them and you get a hook shot, you want to have Hex follow it up perhaps.
With that said, I feel like they don't need instant disable too much. I mean, obviously the BKBs are a huge threat, but I feel like that's not really how the fights are going. And plus with Ags, you already have a 12-second BKB piercing stun. So do you really need a Hex too bad on Plunk? It can be fantastic in some situations, but these guys are so tanky that even if you disable them pre-BKB, killing them before their allies force or swap them is tough. So I think he just goes something more utility based. Not sure what though.
And due time, perhaps, if this game continues to extend into the late game, as it does feel it will. A moment to breathe here as players look to resolve some of their issues and see. This players just sweating in their chairs. These guys are.
It's an intense game. I mean, it's still. I mean, it looks like Newbee has an advantage here, but it still absolutely comes down to how the team fights are executed.
See the commands being laid down by the Newbee side about how they want to approach this game, perhaps. And strategically, is there much like for Newbee? Like right now, they're no longer playing with the Aegis and Cheese. Is Roche going to be a big deciding thing as far as like we get an Aegis, then we can try and push, or are they looking to make some other kind of a play?
Yeah, I feel like it puts them into this insane, powerful position because of the fact that their heroes have a great mix of damage and tankiness. Whereas Wings is mostly utility and tank. They don't have enough damage to offset it. So if you're only having like large amounts of damage but not extreme, then having to kill somebody twice or then popping a cheese during the fight is like fight losing for sure. So I think that's definitely going to be the big aspect here. Wings has to make sure that Newbee doesn't get the Roche, or they punish them heavily while doing it.
And the nice thing with the backpack is you can like put your boots or something in your backpack and still have the Aegis or cheese even when you're kind of 6-slotted. Something like SCC can just replace as needed when he respawns. But it looks like we'll perhaps be getting ourselves back on the way soon. The headsets, well, some of them come back at all.
Bro did go for the Gust knockback, by the way. Interesting choice. I don't think it's a terrible choice. I mean, he's not all about agi this game. It's really about the X effects. So
it's you like added utility over added damage at this point.
Yeah, and going into super late stages of the game, pushing somebody almost a 4-staff away from you could easily be better.
Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, it's like whether you do like 500 damage or 530 damage, it's like...
Yeah, does it really matter? Although, I would say that if somebody jumps on him and he only wants to silence him, it's now bad because it's like a genuinely 4-staffing them away from you.
Yeah.
It's got lots of solutions for that Hurricane Pike and the Gust now. So, I would like to... It looks like Brood is queuing up a Abyssal Blade. I think this is a great choice. Maybe what he should have built instead of the Bloodthorn, perhaps, just because Echo Saber plus Abyssal, great option.
Doesn't feel like he's gotten much value out of the Bloodthorn so far this game.
Yeah, it worked that one time against the Drow Ranger. That was a great fight, but super late game situations... I mean, they do need it against Medusa, I suppose. It could be their evasion solution, but they all still have to go through Lincoln Sphere. And I mean, he's got the cooldown perk. 20% cooldown reduction puts us at 8.8 seconds. That's a really good timing for an item. That's like a skill in terms of downtime.
It's affecting his BKB as well. So.
And his Echo Saber, dude. 4-second cooldown Echo Saber.
Pretty nice. Now he's going for, four active items here. Or 5 active on my set phase boost.
Yeah, that'll make the difference with phase.
That's 6.4 second cooldown phase boost.
He did go for 8 max webs, by the way.
Yeah.
Nobody noticed the infestation on the map.
Yeah, this map is coveted.
It's a really nice advantage I have, really. I mean, because he could hypothetically run around there against Newbee, break smokes, blink away, possibly escape. I feel like we haven't seen Newbee feel very comfortable getting close to the racks, and for that reason, while the Brute hasn't been very useful, at the least they don't get to do easy siege stuff. The Venge prevents that, as does the webs here, I think.
And well, a big thanks to the amazing Malaysian crowd we've had out here at ESL1 Genting. You guys have been very patient throughout these 3 days. We've got to witness some amazing Dota. I believe we're going to take a look at some of the replays from the previous fight to see what went down, to kind of recap. This is the Venge one, so walk us through what kind of went wrong here for Newbee.
The fissure separating the heroes on the right was great. The Drow Ranger as well from the low ground having a lot of trouble killing him. There's clearly tons of misses there, and then the swap out with Kaka and that Echo Slam, just beautiful.
I mean, the headset didn't even get too close for him for the Requiem, but managed just to hit at least enough and was in a position where he could just get the right click damage out. It's one of the few fights, at least this was quite some time ago, where Newbee were really put on the back foot and split apart.
Mm-hmm. And it all came down to the fact that Venge, the person they initiated on, and used all their skills. They even missed the hook shot. Initiating that was definitely very impactful as well, because it took way too long for them to actually blow up the Venge.
Yeah.
This fight was crazy.
Yeah, this was the high ground push. This is where I got to go back to KP. He was so good on this clock, where constant hook shots. He got
3-4 hook shots off on this high ground defense. He bought time. The big thing was at the start of this fight, Drow Ranger was dead, so they had to buy time, but buy time they did. And Wings perhaps diving in a bit too deep in hindsight, would you say, or?
Yeah, I mean, the Medusa looked really low. Her mana was a little bit lower than 30% or so. Her HP was low, but once she grabbed that shrine, that probably gave her a good 1,000, 1,500 HP survivability once you do the math. It was really impactful. They weren't able to kill her, and she turned things around.
And that's still, there must be something where players and teams just still haven't fully adjusted and respecting the power of those shrines.
Especially for Medusa. It's maybe the best hero in the game for shrine abuse for defensive situations. She's not very mobile. She can definitely punish you if you overextend. And just extra value. I really do feel the Mana Shield has been instrumental against this lineup. It hasn't felt like a max minus armor game. It really hasn't.
From both sides, we're getting far enough back in the late game that everyone is just very survivable, has the stats. We saw it earlier with the bench. Since that point, I mean, is it just that Newbee have kind of caught up in terms of items? Do you feel that the fights are swinging back more their way? Or have they actually approached the fights differently from then?
I think it's genuinely just itemization advantage, honestly. The Drow going for Maelstrom as well as Axe made a big impact. Her damage output has been great. Medusa's been entirely focused on tankiness, which initially I criticized, but once Drow covered that base, tankiness was the way to go. And then on the Radiant side, they kept investing in minus armor, but again, the way that Mana Shield works is it just takes that damage off the top, even before you get to amplify it by all the minus armor. It makes it so much less valuable. So all of these like tanky hybrid damage builds that they went on Wings' side, it probably should have just been hard damage, or maybe even something a little bit more cheesy that could drain mana or deal with Medusa better.
The axe of the Drow really feels like the turning point in some ways.
Yeah,
that was,
absolutely.
Until that axe came up, the first fight after that was suddenly won by Newbee with a massive amount, like the 6.5k damage of that Drow Ranger. The clockwork hitting multiple hook shots, so...
I feel like it's just such a scary item to get for a lot of pro players because they think, if I just get a BKB and we win team fights, we win the game, right? But if you buy Ags, then you're vulnerable to pretty much everything. You're vulnerable to Orchid, you're vulnerable to Gap Closers, you're vulnerable to Swamp. Like, there's just not a lot of good solutions if you get put in a bad spot, but the damage output increase, and the way that it opens your itemization to be more effective is just incredible. It's already giving you double damage, essentially, because I believe the split hits do 50% or something of your initial attack, so you're getting double damage already, even though it's splitting. And then you get multiple orb effects, so it's like those items are becoming better. It's a damage accelerant. And whenever I see it picked up, it's really incredible how much damage it does.
Yeah. This Drow probably needs to become like the #1 priority for focus in these fights, or Medusa, you kind of have to ignore it to some extent with how tanky she is. But
I would actually agree, yeah, because she's also amplifying what Medusa does, and Medusa did go very tank heavy, so kill her at the start. That could be a great way to start the fight. Especially, she doesn't have BOTs just yet. She's got them queued up, but if she has to buy back and try to come back in the fight, she won't be able to get there instantly. So, killing the Drow could be great. But Clockwork's been making so much space this game. It's very difficult for Wings to actually get to where they need to and actually blow up the Drow Rangers.
Looks like we'll be getting ourselves back in soon. Yeah, Kaka has reconnected, so perhaps...
Fingers crossed.
So Newbee, they are in position here around the Roshan pit, which won't be respawning for some time, but they do have a double damage rune right by them waiting, so perhaps looking to make some kind of a play happen.
Oh, they're going to give it a shot.
All right.
Fingers crossed.
We'll get things back underway. Here we go, Malaysia. It's game 3, 50 minutes in. Things very even between these two top Chinese Dota 2 squads.
Damage redoubled.
For those of us joining us from
And welcome back everyone here in the live audience, as we'll see, as well as those who watch online on Twitch TV, but it is Wings slightly on the back foot. They lost a lot of map control now, losing all their T2 towers and shrines, and Newbee are the ones who have won these last couple of team fights to put themselves back in this game, ahead overall on net worth, and looking to perhaps set themselves up to take this next Roshan and even go for a smoke maneuver here. Something I'd really like to see Wings start doing a bit more is using Spiderlings to scout. I feel like that's something like Ice is someone who I always think of when he uses his summons really well in the late game just for vision and information. It doesn't matter if you feel them Spiderling. You scout heroes. It's great.
You can even do some patrol stuff as well if you're trying to swap for smokes.
He's got a couple of them around the Roshan pit.
He can literally read your mind. Or he's speaking to and he's not wearing his head. Oh, they're gonna go.
Oh, they got the catch. It's going to be a quick scurry away.
Did you see that? Oh,
Spiderling on the cliff.
Yeah. He clipped himself. He actually can't get down. He's got a mortar.
There's one of the Drought's got the Hurricane Flash.
Is that the only one? Or he's just...
Just look at teammate.
His allies are really good at duking, man.
And it's off.
Swing better.
They're gonna try to pursue this.
They want to contest that roast, like you said. You feel like they have to contest this one, and Wings totally
Good
agree.
timing. The weave is huge. Oh, they're
Rubik,
gonna
the lift immediately to Rubik. They get something about this one. No chance for that. They lose the gem in the process as well. Now dealing with a Brew gets it. They swapping. KB, that's what's flick out. KB back to safety. The increased set. Rubik does not have a buyback. That's a big team fight presence being missed considering the amount of items on this Rubik thing.
And if there's a bit of a gem loss still, he wasn't reacting. He does actually have a gem, but
he got an immediate lift. He didn't blink away. Now the hook shot. Okay, blink on the right side of the fissure, or the left side, but the right will be on the same slide. As Ice was also there for a defensive maneuvers if needed.
cool build here. Eventually, you may think this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but based on his base damage and his agi, he's got a lot of agi. So just standing near heroes, Venge is going to be, especially at level 25, giving 60% damage to his team.
Are you worried that it's being picked up on a core hero that's meant to scale more towards the late game?
I'm not super concerned on it, to be honest, because who else is going to be in the battle that close, that has item slots? Like, Venge's been on so many expensive items already, but she's got the space for this. I think this is okay. I maybe would like to, if she's going to go Mjolnir next, she needs another damage item, surely, and that'll be a great one. Her attack speed's fantastic right now.
And a big shout out to Malaysia. We're currently broadcasting live on Malaysia's MTV7 and on Malaysia's first and largest homegrown streaming service, Tonton. Esports history being made fresh.
And here we are doing it.
Let's not fuck up. Newbee. Again, posturing around the Roshan pit is now respawned.
They're looking for the swap.
Oh, Lincoln. I tried to put it. Lincoln here. What's it back in? He came in onto the Medusa. Trying to get the Zogan. It's the pushing to get it back. He walks in front of the enemy. He's trying to get away from the Zogan. He can't. Brave onto the ocean and keeps him alive. But who's going to keep Link alive? He tries to fight for the high ground. Doesn't make it. As he tries to now reset the fight, it's still a group. One in the front line turns around with the BKB. Silences up STC. STC hasn't changed still. I don't think it's time to go on U9. Nagging on Blink. Echo immediately pays for it with his life though. U9 on the back foot. Drow is dead. The user run away. Gets lifted up. Is the target of the Medusa the great mistake. Turn and fight. Headset moves on Deputy Camp before he dies. Rubik steals the breakfast, unleashes it, and takes down a couple more.
They're
of
still
the Wings
fighting.
unit.
Buybacks all over the place.
Yay. Roche still standing as well. Both teams will be eyeing that one off. Medusa goes into the pit. She does have buyback.
That's the prize they want, and that's why they're gambling on this. If there is a dieback here by Drow Ranger, it is going to be an Aegis towards the Radiant team, but it looks like Wings is feeling less comfortable with this than Newbee is.
Another hook shot at 10 feet. That one's in. Throws the cogs next out of mana at this point, so a lot more limited what he can do if this fight continues to draw out. He's going to go with the Shake, who's going to go Scepter. KP maybe making the call to retreat here. Just 50 mana, no more hook shots at his disposal. No shrines, no nothing to...
The fights have been so he's just completely dead. He's got no more mana left. So, at least for a period of time, this could be a bit of an advantage going towards them. Because everybody else on Wings is looking pretty healthy. But will they know that they're doing this? Spiders are scouting.
Yes, the buyback is going to cool down perhaps the big deterring factor as far as making too many aggressive plays, but they still don't want to give this Roshan a free skate. He's still far away. He's at his tier 3 tower, needs to get your time. Hook's just some neutrals to get him faster. is doing everything he can to make sure he rejoins his team. He needs to be the one initiating any kind of a fight for Newbee.
I really feel she's doing decent damage now. The Monkey King bar is making a big difference in these fights. And even the Medusa, she's throwing out tons of attacks, but her damage is absolutely not good enough.
Yeah, she's still got that Dragon Lance, which you're going to imagine is going to be replaced.
I think it's honestly right here. Oh, good grab.
The pushback with the Cog Shadow is the target here. He has to look at the protect himself. KP stalling around that gun. And now he's in a tough position. He has to hook shot in a couple of seconds. Maybe to throw a KP stunned up. Offering also. That's able to find another hook shot. KP! Fight two. The push will not be there in time to catch the SMS challenge. Popping it back to safety. And now there's nothing. Well, the other wings here is completely alone. It's Faith out on the Brood. Goes down dead for 2 minutes, but does have buyback.
The Stone Gaze goes through, and all of a sudden the amplified damage shreds him. And the fight looked kind of iffy for Newbee there, but by hook shotting, not only did KP disable yours, but he got himself out of a bad position. And if they can kill the Roche here and grab the Aegis, it should be great, but Ben will get here soon.
Here they go. Traveling, loading. Species needs to pick up the Aegis. It's the next thing again. Time the hook. Not trying to buy some time. KP wants to let this Dragon should do the Dagger Roche. I'm like, oh, Dagger, oh my Dagger Roche. What is going on with this Dota 2 game? He doesn't have buyback. He cannot afford to die. The Brood is on the Medusa. Medusa on the She's down. Buyback immediately. The Dolphin Requiem comes out. And it's not only enough to run around. Down the buyback. Wings, they still blood. They want to push forward. Multiple buybacks from both sides. 3 being used by the Newbee side. And look at Roche. It's so low on HP. Can anyone get in here in time? He can. He's got the web, but he doesn't have confidence looking forward. SBC gets Aegis and cheese.
What the hell? Are they going to punish her?
Can they go in? They know there's no Drow Ranger for this one.
They want to, but they're too far away.
Shadow's charging forward. He's got a swap.
Oh, man. That was insane. I mean, Drow does not have standard items. She's actually not that survival. 13 armor base right now. Roche is strong late game, and she did not kill him fast.
Well, I think Wings reckons that they're in a position that even with Aegis in that side, he can push forward. No Drow Ranger. That's a lot of Medusa's damage. And fighting against the Brood is tough for the Medusa because of that 60% mismatch.
Keep them.
They might not push, but now they're going to have got the time in this game. It's just an Earthshaker and a vengeful spirit. It doesn't feel like we can get the best in this one. They're going for the racks, not the throws. First racks of the game, almost 60 minutes in. The winner of this going to the grand finals. It is so tense. And these heroes are slow. Chase that line, they're going for the throw turn. They want to end this game. They know there's very little hope if heroes can do it. He gets pulled out. Still got no extra left. 5 seconds. Push once, twice, thrice. He's just getting pushed around. KP again. The minute is over. Newbee in the grand finals. Insane Newbee in that game, man. Their isolation